As part of our continuing efforts to hear from voters in the coronavirus pandemic, on Friday night, we Zoomed with 6 voters, evenly divided on their voting preference. They were also divided on their thoughts about the impact of the virus on this campaign. We're looking at numbers across the country. And I know, Chelsea, you are in Indiana, I believe. So you're right in the middle of the Midwest, where there is a tremendous spike right now. What do you think the impact will be on the election from COVID?
Generally, I think the lack of response is energizing people to vote. I'm pretty positive that just how chaotic this has all been and that there hasn't been like a very clear, this is what we should be doing, has really frustrated a lot of people. And because of that, they want to see someone else who might actually have a plan or might try and take charge.
And what is it that you see in Joe Biden's plan that makes you think it would respond to the crisis?
Well, actually, like listening to scientists, you've heard Trump call Fauci an idiot, which I think is really dangerous. He's gone back and forth. Well, hasn't really actually even taken a position on mask wearing. Joe Biden is at least, for mask wearing.
My concern with the coronavirus is quite simply, there's not been any transparency about it. I'm very concerned about that. When it first come up, it didn't seem, and maybe I was missing something, but it didn't seem as important as it should have been taken from the very beginning. When you make a mistake and say you can take bleach and cure the coronavirus, and then you get on national TV and say you were just kidding. Well, people are dying. Families are impacted. Loved ones are impacted. Seniors, you can't get on television, no matter who you are, and say, take bleach and you were just kidding. That's nothing to kid about.
Will all of you, show of hands, take a vaccine when one becomes available? Mildred, I was reading that you miss hugging your grandkids, and the social isolation you're in. You still don't want to take a vaccine?
I do want to be around for my grandkids, and I think being, a guinea pig, first out, I won't be here for my grandkids, and I won't get that hug. So therefore, I won't be the first one taking the vaccine.
No vaccine is 100% effective, especially with the viruses, because they mutate so much. So I just think that Trump has put his foot up the collective butt of the FDA to get them to do their job in a timely manner and not just push paper like bureaucrats typically do.
So you would take one tomorrow if it became available?
Absolutely.
Dave, you too. You're saying yes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not up to him to release the drug. It's the FDA. Mm-hmm. You listen to Trump all you want, but until the FDA releases it, you're not going to get it anyway.
I wonder who all of you think bears the most responsibility for the spread of this virus in the United States. Do all of you believe in wearing masks? Can you raise your hand if you wear a mask? Beth, you don't wear a mask?
I do when I'm in public spaces where they insist that you do, but otherwise, no.
And so when you hear the statistics that are rattled off by the CDC director, or you hear Dr. Fauci say wearing a mask could really stop the spread, why do you doubt that?
Because the virus is a virus. The particle is so teeny tiny that it can't even be seen without a microscope. So, while prophylactically, and yes, out in public, it may help. And certainly if I was around someone who was older and was ill, I would do it. But the virus is the virus. It's so small. It's going to do what viruses do. So I think that your best offense is a really good, strong defense. Be healthy, eat well, exercise well, sleep well.
Do you believe that the United States could have done better in its response to the virus? Show of hands. Beth, Dave, and Walter, you all think that the response was adequate. Walter, you've lost friends.
How do you respond to an unknown when you have absolutely no idea what it is? They acted to take care of people as best they could, but you're shooting from the hip. Nobody knows. I think the job that was done was magnificent compared to the circumstances.
When you look at the population in the United States and the access that is here, why don't you think that America should be leading the way?
I think we are leading the way. I think the reason, I think the biggest...
Even though we have about 20% of the world's fatalities and 4% of the population.
And all of the traffic that had come into the country with the disease, whether they knew it or they didn't know it. And then in many of the instances, the way the states handled or didn't, like New York, completely screwed up their response. Inflated the death rate.
So take President Trump out of it. Are you telling me that fault really lies with local governments?
On the state level, it's gotten to a point, and it was obvious from the outcomes in New York and New Jersey that what they did was completely wrong.
Somewhere along the line, the responsibility for taking on ownership of the virus and what needs to happen and should go forward, it was communicated it's the governors who run the state's responsibility to do the things. The governors didn't know what to do. I know the governor of Georgia.
Well, nobody did.
Nobody did. But the buck stops. In my household, what happens here, I'm responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm responsible, so I can't do everything that needs to be done, but I'm going to try to exemplify and take responsibility, acknowledge and take responsibility, and go forward with it.
I think it's just kind of wrong to say that Trump couldn't do anything because that interview came out where, I don't remember if it was in January, February, he knew how deadly it was. He knew how it was spread, yet he still didn't do anything. He said he didn't want to create a panic. People panicked anyways. I mean, you couldn't go to the grocery store, buy any toilet paper, get your groceries.
He didn't say anything. It's not that he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything.
Well, I think in this case, like, he absolutely needed to say something because people were going around blindly, not knowing what to do. If there was, some kind of response from him, maybe governors, local governments might have had an idea.
He did act. He shut down flights into the country, for which he was vilified for. Now, the same people who vilified him for shutting down the flights are saying he didn't do enough. You can't have it both ways.
The CDC even said that, even if he didn't shut it down, it wouldn't have mattered because the virus was already here. And yeah, he did say something, but he waited months to say something. It's unforgivable.
January 31st.
But there was no response nationally to what states should do until March.
But you don't know what you're dealing with. It's just like a fireman going to a fire. They assess the situation and they move in. This is a lot different. You can see the fire. This you can't see. I don't think anybody could have done anything better.
I want to give Mildred the final word here.
I don't think they knew what to do. Then when they started to think about it, you've got politicians and money that became involved. And so the waters got muddy, very muddy. And I just think a lot more could have been done to save lives at the federal level, at the state level, and at the local level.
We'll be right back.